objective or the operations of Let's Feed is about filling current gap in society around food without any judgment.
Exactly.
That is the principle.
I agree.
That is the principle behind Annadan as well.
Yes.
That is the principle behind Langar as well. In Langar, when you are eating and I'm eating, there is no one who judges you that you are, wearing such a nice gold chain and shirt, and how are you really needy?
Yeah.
So we basically just follow the traditional practice that you have to serve, you have to help people without any judgment. We are no one to make a judgment on anyone's situation. Someone may be looking very fit and healthy, but who knows what is going on in their life? Who knows what is their state of mind? Who knows what trauma they may have faced? So no judgments, but you are right, some people may be taking advantage, but this is not our role. It is government's role to find policies and develop programs and processes that whatever support is offered is not abused. For us, we just fill whatever gap we see, and we try to feed people, which is the basic human rights, to have enough food when you sleep every day.
So, what kind of, how are you actually trying to integrate with the government? Are you trying to just, it's not a small thing actually, doing this kind of, organizational activity, feeding all the people. One person cannot actually work on this, for sure.
Yes.
So, what kind of support or how the government is, trying to help you? It's a very good cause actually. So, it's good like if government also can come forward and take some kind of steps for this, initiate and help you guys. So, what kind of support you are getting?
First of all, I only founded Let's Feed, but then there is a core team of 10 people.
Okay.
This includes university lecturers, people who are,
How big is the team now? Just
10 members.
10, okay.
Core team.
Good.
Then the other regular volunteers are 50.
Oh.
And regular donors are more than 200.
Good.
But then there are many people who donate once and then they never donate again, and then some more people will come in future for one donation on some special occasion in their life, marriage, son's birthday, father's death anniversary, or those things. So the principle on which Let's Feed is based on selfless service.
Yeah.
The governments basically take tax from people and reinvest that in the community. So the principle of government support doesn't apply to Let's Feed. That's why we have never approached government for any grants ever.
No.
It is a community-based model where community will self-empower itself through Let's Feed to help itself.
Okay.
So it's a selfless service model. It's not a model where we go and ask government to give us grant which was coming from taxpayer funds, because we believe in Let's Feed that if you give me money and I feed people, where is our contribution? What is the service? You might be doing your job. So Let's Feed is based on, again going back to the Annadan and Langar concept, it is based on selfless service to mankind, where you are making, as a human being, you are making your contribution to society. And I thought I am well settled, I'm well satisfied in my life, I must give back to Australia. So I was compelled to make a contribution to this society which has given me such a great career, respectful job, and economically good, satisfying needs, all my needs. So it is that concept.
Generally, when you start in any organization, or so many people will think like, okay, this organization is it's a non-profit organization,
Yeah.
Many people will feel like, you might be getting funds from the government and all.
Yes.
Did you ever faced any questions?
No one has the courage to ask us on our face, because we have all the evidence and impact of our work. The impact that Let's Feed has served more than 250,000 breakfast meals.
That's very good.
Without without 1 cent from taxpayer money. No support from government. It's not that government didn't give us support. We did not want government support because we wanted to create a community-based model. But as you know, people will always talk. People talked about Lord Rama. People talked about Sita Mata and in her background. And so if people can talk about Lord Rama and his wife's character, well then what is my situation? I'm too small for people to talk. Let anyone talk anything, But if they want to challenge anything we do and anything we say, they are welcome to come on board and face-to-face chat with me, and I'll counter their arguments with evidence. Because we have evidence of everything. All our donations come through online. We never take cash. We never accept checks. Very rarely, and it goes into bank account. All our purchases are online. We never pay anything by cash, and all our purchases are food, no other thing, and it goes directly to the schools and needy people. So no one collects food and delivers. In case of the financial donations. And in terms of the food donation, food comes from different agencies, gurdwaras, temples and people, and then it goes into different agencies. And there's 100% transparency. That's why we take photos when people donate, we take photos when people take food, so that there's no misunderstanding.
Okay. So what you say, like, okay, let's Jasvinder has started Let's Feed, and okay, this is no money he's getting or something like that.
Yeah.
If some people feel like, okay, he's trying to get a political benefit, maybe it's there, like, to get the political benefit from the government or so.
Yeah.
So if someone asks, like, what you answer?
Yes, it's a very valid question. The answer is that if someone, after working for 7 to 8 years in community, after showing results, and is able to reach a state where he or she can claim a political position, I think that is better than claiming a political position without doing anything, or being in politics for not doing anything. So the answer to them is, politics is meant for changing our lives. Politics is meant for bringing changes, finding gaps, and working around them. If I have been able to do all that without entering politics, then you can imagine, if you give me an opportunity, then how many gaps I can identify, and with the resources what I can achieve. So that's my answer.
Okay. So do you have any plans
Yes.
contesting from Tarnit? I think you're from
Yes,
Tarnit.
yes. Tarnit, in Tarnit, the sitting member has retired, so he will not be recontesting next year's elections.
Okay.
Election is in November next year, 2018. It is every 4 years, so the seat becomes vacant.
Okay.
So I have nominated for Labour ticket for Tarnit.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm contesting Tarnit, because it depends whether Labour's voters, internal members, and the Labour central panel. There's a 2 levels of vote, whether I win or someone else wins. So who will win will then contest next year's elections.
So how many people were there at this point of time standing?
So
as a
far, as far as I know, there are only 2 other people who have expressed interest. And I'm aware that 2 people have nominated, just myself and Sarah Connolly. But there's another person who has also expressed his interest to run.
Okay.
So I think 3 people possible, but as of now, I'm only aware only 2 people have nominated.
Okay. Don't you think the last year elections I saw from Tarnit is a major, I can say, major hub for many contestants. I have seen many contestants.
Are you talking about council elections?
Council elections.
Yes.
About council elections.
Yes.
So
I think
how different is this from the council elections?
Yeah.
Everyone can actually express their interest, or are there any limitations or?
the council elections. Firstly, there were it won't be called as Tarnit. The council elections are run at the council level, and the council is Wyndham Council.
Exactly.
So in Wyndham Council, there are about 220,000 people, and it is expected that within I think a decade or couple of decades, it will be 400,000. So Wyndham will become a mini city.
Exactly.
Wyndham Council has 3 state seats and 1 federal seat. The federal seat is called Federal Seat of Lohla. This seat was established after Peter Lawler. Usually it is set up after the names of some famous prime ministers or some former prime ministers or some other famous politicians who made a contribution. For example, in future, there will be a seat named after Julia Gillard as well. There will be a seat called Gillard.
Yeah.
So Lohla, the seat of Lohla, has the former member was Julia Gillard. Now it's Joan Ryan. And there are 3 state seats: the seat of Altona, the seat of Werribee, and the seat of Tarnit. The seat of Tarnit seat of Tarnit existed, but Werribee and Tarnit was 1 seat before.
Okay.
The seat of Tarnit was called was covering the Werribee electorate as well.
Yeah.
But with the increase in population, in 2014, the redistribution took place and 2 seats were then converted into 3 seats.
Okay.
Because 47% population in the seat of Tarnit settled there in between 2010 and 2014.
Exactly.
So it means one seat became the size of double. So when we say the seat of Tarnit, it's not just Tarnit, it includes the suburb of Tarnit, the suburbs of Hoppers Crossing, the suburb of Truganina and Williams Landing.
All the way, like, the West, these days the West is very, you see lot of competition for any,
Yes, no, we were talking about the having a lot of competition at the council level.
Council level.
So the 3 state seats, 1 federal seat, and Wyndham Council. So Wyndham Council has 3 wards.
3 wards, yeah.
In those 3 wards, there are 11 councillors.
Yeah.
The ward of Harrison ward has 4 councillors. The Chaffee ward has 4 councillors. And the Iramu ward has 3 councillors. The Iramu ward is Wyndham Vale area. The Harrison ward is the Point Cook area. And the Chaffee ward is the Tarnit area. So the Chaffee ward and the seat of Tarnit is almost same. The Harrison ward and the seat of Altona almost similar area. And the seat of Werribee and Iramu ward almost the similar area. So what had happened was there were 95 candidates for 11 seats in 2016 council elections that took place.
Exactly.
Yes, so your question was whether anyone can contest. Yes, anyone can contest the state parliament and federal parliament as well. But the difference is that in the council elections, political parties do not participate directly. They do not field their candidates. But in state and federal, political parties do field their candidates. Therefore, if an individual contests independent, unless he or she has a very strong support on the ground, unless they have done a lot of projects, they know the area, they know the policies, then people would not vote for them. The history shows that only members associated with political parties succeed. So it's either the mainstream parties, Labour, Liberal, Greens, or any other parties, people vote for the party mostly.
Okay. So when you are given a chance, how confident are you, Jasvinder?
Well, because it is all internal process and there is a 2-level voting system. The local members are voting and then the central committee is voting. And within Labour Party, like any other organization and any other place, large organizations, there are subgroups and they're called factions. So there are a number of decisions taken by the factional leaders, and so I am quite confident because on the ground I have very strong support. And at the factional level, I have strong support. I can't say very strong, but I have strong support at the factional level. But I'm not aligned to any union, so as you can imagine that Labour Party has strong union presence. And unions are very, very dominant within the Labour Party decision making, and I'm not part of any union. So therefore, I have that is you can say one of the factors that is not in my favor. However, on the ground, based on my projects, based on the work I've done in Wyndham area to tackle youth homelessness, running breakfast clubs, helping the needy, finding gaps in the policy, I have very strong support from local members.
So, like, given a chance, in what areas or for what communities, in what kind of policies you want to see any changes? If you got any opportunity.
Okay, so we're talking about if I win the pre-selection.
Exactly.
And then we're also talking about if I win the election.
Elections,
so
not
levels.
only with the elections and all also, like, as a candidate, let's say, apart from the candidate also, you are having a lot of policies changes that you wanted to make within
So right now I'm studying 2 policies.
Okay.
Whether I win the pre-selection, whether I do not win, whether I win the pre-selection and I win the parliament seat or do not win, or I do not win, I believe you can always make a contribution.
Of course.
You can always make a contribution as an activist. For example, without even being very active in Labour Party, one of my projects has impacted the state government policy. So I developed breakfast clubs model. The Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, went to one of the schools with me to understand how I run my breakfast club.
Okay.
So he went to Silverton Primary School on 8th of October 2014 with me. And I went there with him and explained to him how I run. He picked up my model and he has adopted that as his policy. So you can see that without being even very active in politics, I brought that change. and without being directly involved in politics, I meant to say.
Yeah.
And his policy, his government, which is the current Victorian government, is feeding 25,000 school children across 5 schools. So I was saying that irrespective I get in or not, I will be able to make a difference. So I am looking at
Yeah.
2 policies. TAFE system. The TAFE system is predominantly private sector now. The government funding is being withdrawn from TAFE, and I, as an educationist, I am not in favor of contestable funding. Not entirely, because contestable funding, what happens is you allow the education system to be operated as a market. And when you make education as a free market or health services as a free market, things do not work. So I am studying where there are gaps in the TAFE system and how we can fix it. But at the end of the day, I need to keep in mind that even if I get in, I'm not going to become the premier, and I'm not going to become education minister. So I will have to find ways how I can motivate and influence the policy. The second policy which is of my interest is the youth justice, youth affairs. Out of home care, a lot of young people, children, kids are taken away from the families due to various reasons, and they are in out of home care. They are in the foster care. And that system, I believe, has a lot of gaps. A lot of youth become disengaged because you might be living in a foster care, you might be living out of care, but the affection and the care that your parents will give, no, that you can't expect. So therefore, some youth become disengaged. When the disengaged youth is then, we are seeing that there was a rise in youth crime. So we need to go back to the root cause. The root cause could be that we may need to improve the foster care or out of care. I don't know. I haven't looked at the policy yet. But those 2 areas are of my special interest. But again, there will be other areas as well that I would like to study, find gaps, and try and work. One of the areas where I am working very heavily is extension of Royal Commission on Family Violence. I'm working with a professor from RMIT University, along with her, and there is another person who is expert in justice. This lady is expert how justice is done, how courts work. So we're looking at the current gaps where Royal Commission said that in Victoria, a lot of women are suffering from family violence. Men are also sometimes victims, but the evidence shows predominantly it's women. Royal Commission said the current policies are not able to basically establish a direct nexus between financial control and family violence.
Okay.
Because in Australia or in Victoria, if you are separating as husband and wife, then the courts would say the issue of family violence is one thing, your financial settlement and a child's custody and all those things are different.
Yeah.
Well, they are basically connected. That's what the Royal Commission found, and that's what we are looking at.
Okay.
We are looking at that policy as well. So that would be third area of my interest.
That's good. There are a lot many policies you got in your mind, which are even, those policies are very good in fact.
Yeah.
So apart from this, okay, now coming to your, when you're free, what you want to do? Do you like traveling, or what do you do?
Oh yeah.
You find time?
Yes, I have traveled to Europe 7 times, and Canada 3 times, and been to Singapore 11 times. I've been back to India 15 times, New Zealand, China twice, Hong Kong twice. So a lot of this travel was
all these are on educational.
Yes, most of this was linked with education. But then you always find 2 or 3 days, weekends, to basically see the area where you go. So I have traveled quite a lot. And I have done independent trips as well. So traveling, yes, I like to travel because if I am at home or in Melbourne, I don't stop working.
Okay.
So when you are traveling, you don't have few things with you. But nowadays you have this international roaming.
That's where I found you, when we were sitting here before the interview also, we got half an hour, I think, you were just putting something on your paper.
Yes, so I was planning a few things, I was working, because so I don't stop working. Therefore, I have to go away.
I know you love working, but if you, first question is like, do you find time? And if you find time, what you would like to do for,
Yeah, I don't ever get free time, but I usually get gaps. For example, there was a meeting and there was researching, and I was studying, and then the second thing is not happening until 5 p.m. So between 2 and 5, then I get this 3 hour gap. And then sometimes if the last meeting also gets cancelled sometimes, so I don't have anything, I have a gap, I have a one free evening, then I call some of my friends, say, let's come have dinner. And basically I prefer to cook at home and eat, if it's Indian, because I've been learning cooking for the last 25 years. From a very young age, and I started learning, and then I have a very good understanding of how Indian cuisine works.
So you're a good cook?
Oh yes,
you cook?
Yes, I cook everything vegetarian.
I had to taste.
Yes, definitely.
Vegetarian.
Yes, I only cook vegetarian, but I cook a wide variety of things.
Good.
And I've learned from lots of different people. So what I would do is, if I eat something at your home and I like it, I will need to ask who cooked it.
You try.
And I need to ask who can teach me. And I make sure that I learn that.
Okay.
That's why I have learned lots of unique special dishes over the last 20 years.
Okay.
So sometimes a lot of people say, no, I'll cook for you. I said, you can cook for me once, twice, but I want to cook it again. So cooking and eating unique, good, tasty food is my hobby. I cannot eat non-tasty food. And gardening recently, because I like plants and flowers. So
I have seen some flowers of yours.
yeah. So we have set up. I'm studying a lot about different plants.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at this plant as well. So I was thinking that this plant, I have this plant at my home, although this is not real.
I think it's not real.
It's not real, but this plant is a good ground cover. So gardening is another hobby. So right now we have at my home, we do not have an enormous home, but we have quite a large land. So we have more than 400 plants.
At your home?
Yes.
Okay.
In 100 pots and other in the ground.
Okay.
Ground cover, small plants, succulents, and vegetables and other things. So I do with my father.
Okay. So your parents are here?
Yes, my parents are here. They live with me, and I, among other projects, I also founded a project to make migrant seniors, and specifically the Indian seniors, independent. So the social independent means initially 10 years ago, when parents would come, they would have English language problem.
Yeah.
They would not be able how to ride a bus, train, and they would not know how things work here. They were not connected to the councils. There were no public places where they could meet. So I started a project with the help of Tan and Gurdwara, where we made Indian seniors self-sufficient. Now there are about 7 to 8 different organizations that run in the Windham region, and it caters for more than 1,000 seniors. So those seniors are very active. So I had another project in mind over many years, but I didn't get time, is to help seniors develop veggie gardens and other gardens at their home. So rather than sitting and saying, oh, what can we do all day, watch TV, or they can do a bit of gardening. It is good for their state of mind, mental health, it is good for their physical health, and also if they develop good garden at home.
Does it require any permission from the council or something like that?
It doesn't need any permission, rather councils do help. There are projects in the council where you can, councils have set up, Windham Council has, it's called shoestring gardening. They have set up some gardens. You can ask the council that I like this garden, and council looks after it. You go grow your vegetables.
This is actually a very good idea. Let us know if we can work out something serious.
Yes, I have that project in mind. See, as I said, if I get in, then politics will change me differently. So I will go on and start working on the policies. But if I do not win the pre-selection, I have hundreds of projects in my mind. I have a lot of projects in mind. So as I said, you can always make a contribution. So I want to basically work on community garden project with seniors, making them self-sufficient, and some seniors who are from families where they're looking for work. They can start selling plants. Like this plant I was telling you, it creates babies around it. Just propagate them and start selling for $3, $4, and you will start earning.
Exactly.
Rather than going to big shops and buying it for $10, if I get it for $3, I'll buy from my local senior citizens rather than going to large shops.
Yeah.
So I have lots of ideas, that innovative ideas that are addressing local social issues.
That's good. Good to hear. And if I ask you which part of your job gave you more satisfaction, Jay? It's the volunteer work, Let's Feed and all this thing, or when you comes to teaching and all? Which you like more?
Yeah, so I do three things basically: teaching, social work where we help the needy, and political policy work and advocacy work. So in terms of satisfaction, teaching is on top because you are giving new direction to someone's life. I always try and guide students, struggling students. So obviously changing someone's or ability to influence someone's life, decisions, careers, I think that is always on top. That's why in our culture teaching is considered next to, it's a noble occupation. Second, I will say the second level of satisfaction in community work, and the third level of satisfaction is political advocacy. Because political advocacy is not a very enjoyable work. There are a lot of pressure points, there are a lot of pressure groups, they are always opposing you, so you have to find your own path, way in. Because always there will be, resources will be less, and social problems and public need will always be high. So that's why political work is very tough work. Yeah.
Being in a question like, being you are into an educational field.
Yeah.
So don't you think like, why can't you plan something which helps to students with some policies or helping them, guiding them, what they actually require and all?
That's what I said. TAFE.
TAFE.
I want to study TAFE policy.
Okay.
And find how we can improve it.
That's good.
So that is education.
Because there are a lot many people back in India as well. They don't know how exactly the system works. When they come in here, they see how the course is working, and they want to, at the end of the day, they want PR. That's the main criteria to many students.
That is correct, and there's nothing wrong because everyone has come to Australia looking for a better future.
Of course.
Migration is based on seeing your life improving.
Exactly.
So there's nothing wrong, but this is another perspective that I can take further, that guiding, finding gaps in international education and seeing how we can help. We have worked with international students in past. We have run workshops for them, but that needs a holistic approach. It is a federal government policy. It needs a policy top-down approach which guides students from a different perspective. So far, federal policy has been failing in terms of international education because it only concentrated on universities getting more students. Universities have not been able to give back to international students. International students have been seen as cash cows only.
Yeah.
So there is a huge gap in the policy.
I think education is
industry
is the second one.
Second or third, it was one of the biggest, but I have strong opposition when you call education as an industry. That's where fundamentally you take it wrong. When you try and sell education for making money, that's where everything goes wrong. So that's another gap. But I'm not running for federal parliament, so I can't work on that effectively. And unless you have ability to change, it's very difficult to keep planning things and trying to do things because it doesn't work in politics. Exactly. In politics, unless you have the ability to lobby, nothing works.
Okay, so now coming to your family, tell me something about your family. How is your life going on?
Life is good. I have been just committing myself to work and work. So I haven't settled myself yet. But after this year, there are plans. And in my family, I'm the only child. So family is very small. And my both parents live with me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking after them?
Yes.
That's good.
I'm their carer. And they're both aging, and my mother has diabetes, very high diabetes, so
should be very.
Yes, they need care. My father just had a major heart surgery, double procedure, so they need care. So I'm usually nowadays working mostly from home, if it's possible.
If I ask you, like, what is the happiest and what is in your entire life? What is your happiest moment in your life, and what is the tragedy? Or anything you felt like, okay, if this would not have happened, that would be very good,
Well, there would be many stages in your life that you look back and say that it was one of the best things you did, or quite happy moments. I believe a decision to settle in Australia along with my parents.
Yeah.
That was I think quite a good decision. And there is evidence that I look at. My mother had lungs infection and her breathing had literally stopped. So we called the ambulance, and ambulance was there within like 6 minutes.
Here.
Yes, in Australia.
In Australia. Yeah.
So you can imagine if we were not here,
Yeah.
then she may not have survived.
Yes.
So you then look back at your decision, and then you think that was one of the best decisions you took
Yeah.
to migrate to Australia.
Yeah.
And my father, his wall was blocked, it was identified, and he had his surgery. So it means we proactively took his health. The care was given, and he had surgery. But otherwise, we may not know until the heart attack.
Yeah.
And when you have heart attack, you may survive or you may not survive. So the decision to settle in Australia, the society, the system, the education systems gives you a fair chance. Here, generally things flow smoothly, and if you are concentrating in your life, in your career, usually you do not struggle much.
Yeah.
This is what I have learned. So I believe not one moment, but looking back at migration, that was quite good. And the other things that have given me happiness is all the projects I started. The day when I get emails that school teacher says, now we have 30 students. Some of these students come to us, say, we don't have breakfast at home, so you serve us. So the teachers write to me. So these things that where you feel that you as a human being have a significance in this world.
Yeah.
You are important to yourself, yes, things are important, but when you feel that your existence is able to make a difference, I think that's where everyone will feel good. And those moments, and then when a girl or a boy write to me and say, sir, you guided me and I listened to you, and now I got a job and my job is sponsoring me for my PR. So I get emails like this as well. I get emails from exchange students. One of the students from Germany wrote to me and said he has never met anyone who is as motivating as me. So things like those, when you are able to make a difference, either in someone's life, momentarily, or serving breakfast. And on the other hand, decisions such as, well, one of the, I think, decisions I look back and I discuss with my parents is that they came to Australia 7 years after I came.
Very quick.
Not quick. I believe they could have come earlier.
Okay. Not you met them as a peer and you.
Yes, we brought them peer. But we could bring them in 5 years ago.
Yeah, in 5 years. Yeah.
5 years ago, but they took 7 years. So I tell my father that this 5 years that we lost in our life,
Yeah.
it's never coming back. So it would have been better that you would have been here, because when my parents were alone in India, their health was not being looked after much.
Okay.
And sometimes, as you know, our
You're
parents.
the only kid, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes our parents say, let's not go to doctor. Doctor will charge 200 rupees, 400 rupees. So I think I look back at those things that if they would have come earlier, we would have spent those 5 years together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
But apart from that, I do not have many or any strong points in life which I say, oh, it is terrible what happened.
You regret much?
No, I don't have many regrets.
That's good.
Because I usually do things after careful thought. I speak after careful thought, and usually I don't regret.
Yeah.
But rather what I do is, if there's a major mistake or error that I do, I reflect on it and I see whether it was my mistake, whether situational, and I then look at how I can improve myself or how I can avoid that situation. For example, an argument with a staff member, or someone saying things to me, or other things, someone making complaint about me. I just look back what triggered that, and I try and change that.
Yeah.
So in short, throughout my education career or in politics or even social, I haven't had any argument with anyone.
That's good.
No argument. People can talk about me at my back bad, but on my face, I haven't had anything with anyone.
So did you ever heard that kind of people talking
Yes.
about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People do call me and say, oh, this person was saying this thing. I said, I don't need to know, because that's all crap. And crap is always garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage in my mind, then I will make it further into bigger garbage and speak out. That's what happens. I say, oh, Hari, the person was saying, you are bad. And you will say two bad things and go back to the other person and say, Hari was telling me about you. I know all that, how things work. I have understood how society works. There are some people in the world who are born to give negativity to others. They enjoy that. They feel contented in that. They achieve satisfaction in that. And I basically stray away from them. I immediately pick when someone calls me and say, oh, I heard this about it. I said, that's fine, you heard, but I don't need to know that what you heard. And there it stops.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, Ji, what is your final goal in your life?
Uh,
At the end of the life, what
being relevant.
Jasvinder?
No. My final goal is that when you die with satisfaction that I was relevant to the world.
Okay.
And that relevance in any role doesn't matter. That relevance being able to feed kids, that relevance being able to make a policy change in TAFE or international education, that relevance being able to educate students to become better human beings, can be anything. But my life should have relevance to the society. That's it, without having defined goals in my life. Because if you keep working, life will always take shape. Like a flowing river, it never takes the same path for a long period.
Good.
So a life that is there to make things happen or bring change or ability or desire to work takes you. If one door stops, if water is flowing, if there's a one stoppage, it starts flowing to the other side. Yeah. So I believe in positive energy, and I think positive energy never stops, never dies.
That's good. That's all, Ji. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the very best for your, whatever the work you're doing,
Yes,
whether
thank
it's
you.
a Let's Feed, whether it's politics
Yes.
that you're entering,
Or education.
or education.
Thank you.
All the very best.
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.